I'd like us to go back to Marty's COVID-19, and we are going to be keen on health workers, just to get a deeper look at the plight of doctors in Kenya in the wake of COVID-19. And I am joined by Dr.Allan Ochanji, who is the vice chairman of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union. A very good evening to you, Dr.
Good evening.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. First, what are the facts around the late Dr. Stephen Magosu's passing away? Was he employed by the national government or county government of Machakos?
Thank you for giving me a platform to talk to you. I mean, it's sad we lost our colleague, Dr. Allan. May his soul rest in peace and be sent to brothers. What we know is that our colleague passed on at a time when he actually needed not. He was out of service to serve his beloved country, but his country failed him. He died at a point when his accumulated salary affairs was stretching over 5 months. He died at a point where we had to channel for him because he did not have medical cover. He died at a point where he left a widow, he is left a child, and there's no compensation.
All right.
Because he is not the only one. He's joining a list of 236 healthcare workers who lost their lives.
All right, and Dr. just to be clear, was he hired by the national government or was it the government of Machakos County?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Was he hired by the national government or by the county government of Machakos?
Dr. was hired under the UHC pilot program, and then was deployed to the COVID isolation center in Machakos County. So his payment details, everything, benefits was come from the national government.
Okay.
But in terms of deployment, it was working under Machakos County.
All right. So why did KMPDU suspend its strike on Sunday, even as other unions in the health sector went on with their strike plans?
The point at which we suspended that strike notice was that we had already started engagement. And sometimes goodwill is not fitting. And with the plight of Kenyans at heart, we say, wait a moment, let's take a step and give audience to the authorities that be, like wait for 2 weeks. So when we were giving that window of negotiation for 2 weeks, let it be clear to Kenyan, it's not that all our issues were sorted out. We still have doctors who do not have safe cover. We still have our colleagues who don't have compensation. We still work in an environment where we don't have enough PPEs. We still have our colleagues in Kenyatta who are sent out of jobs, have been jobless for the last 2 years. We have like Kipia, who sent out colleagues and they've not been employed since then. So when we were giving this 2 weeks, we were very clear. It's only an only negotiation, nothing else. Of course, let me be clear with you that if that 2 weeks elapses without anything else, we will resume the journey that we have given, which is going full-blown industrial action on the 21st of December.
All right. Now, before we get into details of the strike and the date of the 21st of December 2020, has KMPDU held any talks with the government since Sunday? And are there any promises that have been put on the table by the government?
Let us be clear that even before Sunday, we began some talks and we informed Kenyans that we met the Parliamentary Committee on Health, we had met the Senate, we had met the Ministry of Labour, chaired by the CS. We had talks and we had tabled our demands, the things we call bare minimums, the things that we cannot go to work without. And it's based on those engagement that we decided as an organization that we can give a period of 14 more days. So as we talk, we want to see the culmination of those talks. If nothing yields out of the engagement with Parliament, out of the engagement with the Senate, out of the engagement with the Ministry of both Ministry of Health and Ministry of Labour, we have nothing but to resort to the only language that sometimes the authorities understand. This is painful, we don't like it, but sometimes if that is the only option and that is the only route that we can pursue, we have nothing but to pursue it.
So what's the, Dr. what's the final time frame you have given the government to meet your demands?
Our message is government is, they cannot dance on the grave of healthcare workers. We cannot have a situation where a doctor is almost dying. The only thing he's asking for is how much is the bill. Because he knows when he dies, his family will not be able to pay that. Him is given completely, is given hope in life. But the only thing he's thinking when he's going to die that will my family be able to offset it. When our senior Dr. Ashraf was dying from Eldoret to Nairobi, he died at a point when the family was trying to organize a WhatsApp group so that they could have money for deposit in ICU. How many Kenyans can afford ICU? None. So I'm saying this, and it's the best interest of Kenya that whatever we are fighting for is for their interest. We don't want a situation where a Kenyan will walk into a hospital and find that there is no healthcare worker to give them care.
So what's the time frame that you're giving the government to meet your demands, actually?
Come on.
So what's the actual time frame that you're giving the government to meet your demands, Dr.
You know, we tabled very clear demands to the government. Our strike notice was addressed to the health and public service, and all the government bodies were up there. Our demands are very clear, and we are very clear in our minds. We'd rather die out of work and stay at home with our families than present yourself in a place of work to go and die.
All right. So with that said, what actions will KMPDU take in case the government fails to meet your demands?
I didn't get your question.
I'm saying, with that said, what actions will KMPDU take in case the government fails to meet your demands?
In case the government fails to meet our demands, number one, Kenyans would have known that we are not a selfish group of people. When the time was right to jump into an industrial action, we gave 14 more days. Even that, we already gave 21 days instead of the 7 days. If the government fails to hit our calls, we will leave those hospitals. We will go and stay with our families. Let us suffer, but suffer in the environment of the people who love you. The government over and over has shown that they don't care about us. They don't care about the dying doctor, they don't care about the nurses, they don't care about the clinical officers. So they can as well go and look for the environment where they are.